Hello, Whiplash Group members. Hey, I hope you deep dove last week into Dr. CJ Mertz's video on setting and keeping goals. It is amazing. You just cannot go wrong with that. I highly recommend that you really deep dive into it, visit it a few times, listen to it while you're driving to work. He did share that for my kids at a special event we did for the kids, the 20, 30-year-olds to reach their goals, but he used some chiropractic examples in there. Look, there's no better way than to set goals with leverage. And if you're not tracking your goals, which is what I want to share with you today, we've been making this list that you will have a link to, and I'm sending it out in the email. If the link doesn't work, you probably just need to get permission. So just reach out to me and say, hey, I want permission for that, and I'll make sure I set it up for you. But you should be using a goal tracker like this. Thank Josh for putting this together for us. He's an accountant that we're going to do an interview with in just a little bit. Tanner Adams and my son Josh works for Tanner Adams, and Tanner is the accountant that Garrett Gunnarsson recommends and refers to. So I'm going to recommend you tune in to that interview coming up next week or the week after. But you can see on the screen here, we've got some instructions on how to download this, make a copy of it, save it to your drive. And then what I would recommend is we have a shared Google Drive, so you can just each month update the goals and I automatically have them. I would encourage you to have me as your accountability partner to help you with your goals. If you're not comfortable with that, then do it with somebody, but have an accountability partner for all the reasons we've discussed over the course of this year. In training over several months, we've circled back to accountability and accountability partners, and those are how we really get good traction. What you do is on the second page here, the goal tracking actual, you don't really need to do much here. You only fill in the yellow cells. So for example, you can put in your monthly goals of new patients. Like you want to do 22, your patient visits per week. You want to have 150 patient visits per week. You want to have a collections for the month of say 50,000. Maybe for some of you, it's much higher, of course, but whatever works for you. This one should be dollars. So once you have those things in there, then you've got your goals. So you're filling out the yellows. I've got definitions over here of what is PVA. If you don't know that, that is a goal that we really need to track. That is seriously having your finger on the pulse of your practice, on the longevity of your practice. It's all it is, and it's been around for generations of chiropractors now, but it's taking your visits, your adjustments per month, dividing by your new patients, and that's showing you your patient visit average. And I can tell you this, most chiropractic offices have a PVA of 12 or less. That is the 80 percentile. The 20 percentile, the ones that are really rocking it, have it 36 or higher. So that's the goal that you want to be shooting for. But you don't put any data in here. This page is all calculated for you. You go over here to the third one, which is the weekly tracker, and you put in your stats. So to get used to this, so we can really do it good next year, I'm going to recommend, doctors, that you go down here to fourth quarter of this year, just change the dates to make sure they match up for this year, and put in your data. And what you're doing is how many days, this is where it's tough when you're doing weekly stats and quarterly stats, because the month may start in the middle of the week, and so it throws off quarterly stats when you're trying to do it. This is really good for us to just have a ballpark on what's going on here. So what I would like you to do is just put in how many days you're open for that week of the month. Again, please do these for the end of the year. Go back and do October, jump into November, and then do December. And so that way you're really familiar with it by the beginning of next year. You can put in your collections for the week that you did. We just put in some simple numbers just to show you how it works. New patients they had over the course of the week. Conversions. Now, conversions are something you're going to need to put in. Conversions are people, you ready for this? This is the definition, chiropractors. This probably works for PTs as well. Conversions are how many people are signing up for a care plan. Now, if they're just following your insurance and they're coming in onesie, twosie, and you're still taking payments for a copay onesie, tuesday as they come in, 1, 2, 3 as they come in, not a conversion. They are just a problem, pain-chasing patient. They have not caught your philosophy on health and healing. A month care plan or longer, 12 visits or longer, that is a conversion. So when you start doing your conversions of new patients, you're going to start saying, wow, am I seeing a lot of new patients that are just onesie twosie things, which really drives your PVA down? Or are you getting conversions for a month, 90 days, a year? Are you getting your auto accident patients to not just be and examine a couple patients and disappear, but actually follow treatment protocols with the Croft guidelines for 6 weeks for a grade 1 or 2.5 to 3 months for a grade 2, 3 to 4.5, 5 months for a grade 3. This stuff is important, guys, and you'll start seeing some really cool things. Another thing I want you to pay attention to here is, and this is a total CJism, so kudos CJ for this. If you have 3 weeks in a row where your numbers are climbing, then you can highlight and change the color of your font. And I want you to track how often you're climbing versus just doing the zigzags up and down all the time, or just steady and no change, no growth. We're either growing or we're dying. There's very rarely our practices just stable at the same visits every week. Now, I want to point out, when I say dying, it's a little scary word, but we're dropping or we're climbing. But we want to be climbing 3 weeks in a row, because if we do that, we're usually going to find a new bottom point if we're still working it. So tracking your stats are huge. So you can see these numbers are in here in the yellow boxes. So now if we go back over to the goal tracker, it's auto-calculating. All right, how many new patients did they have for the month? How many new conversions? Again, you're putting in that number on the other page on the yellow thing. Patient visits per month. Patient visit averages per week. It's calculating, but you can put in directly what yours are on this, how many patients you had that week. Or you can give me some feedback when you track it different. So then it's totaling it all up. And I want you to watch your gross and your net. And for some of you, if we are in that scarcity mindset, we're so concerned with our net that we're not growing the gross to help cover the net. Obviously, we need to have a delicate balance between expenditures and income. There are times where we need to spend for growth rather than just shrink. We can't shrink to growth. We can definitely get our finances in order and shrink down for a little while, but we can't stay in that. We've got to start thinking, okay, now I've cut some finances on some bleedy things we had in the monthly expenses, but now that I've got it down to a good thing, where can I spend for more growth? Please stay growth oriented, docs. Okay, so great thing. I would like to see you utilize this. Please do share it with me if you could, so that we can be keeping track with accountability. I sincerely hope that this is helpful for you. I know it will be if you just deep dive into it. Call me with questions on it anytime.